Hey everybody, I'm Diane Hall with AARP Missouri, and I'd like to welcome you to Flexibility and Function. This is our final class of the 8-week series. This series was created and is going to be led by Tyler Ferguson. And although this is the last class in this series, we're already talking about what's next. In fact, Tyler and I had a big discussion right before this class about that. But a little explanation if this is your first time for this class, or a reminder for the rest of you. The aim for this class is for all of us to gain flexibility and have some fun doing it. Those gains will take a little bit of work that Tyler will take us through in a minute, but you may think it doesn't look like a real workout. This kind of movement is a class that enhances the flexibility and function, and that will contribute to the success of any other physical activities that you take on. Sometimes this slow and controlled kind of movement is more challenging and also more beneficial than a faster, jerkier one. Here at AARP Missouri, we believe that offering classes like this gives more people a chance to participate. Though we do have in-person things like walks and hikes and bike rides, sometimes a virtual class may be more convenient for some of you. And if you're a caregiver, or maybe you're watching this later on our YouTube channel, whatever works for you and your schedule so you can participate when it's more convenient for you. However and wherever you're participating, we are glad to have you and hope this helps to enhance your commitment to healthy, active living. This is a great foundational class that you can do every day. You can find many of our previous classes on Missouri's YouTube channel at aarp.com/AARPMO. This class is suitable for all levels of fitness. However, you know your own limitations. Please do not try to go beyond what you know is right for you. If you have any concerns, you should check with your doctor before participating in this or any other AARP fitness offerings. Now, in addition to our online fitness classes, AARP also has all kinds of resources for caregivers on COVID-19, about home modification so you can live at home longer and more safely, technology information, as well as our upcoming activities on our website at aarp.org/nearyou. We have lots of activities going on and volunteer opportunities to make a difference in your community and in your life. There are options to volunteer virtually or in person. You can volunteer regularly or just once in a while. Please check our website, aarp.org/Missouri, to find out more. All right, get ready, Tyler. I'm going to turn it over to you, Tyler Ferguson, so you can let the fun and functionality begin.
Thank you, Diane. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'd like to begin this morning just by coming to some stillness. So come to a standing position. And this is nice to do before any workout. Just take a moment to ground and just shift from your morning, shift from whatever you're doing into this time where you're completely focused on yourself. Look down at your feet, see that your feet are about hips distance apart. And then take your eye gaze down to the floor, or maybe even soften your eye gaze, close your eyes if that's safe for you. And then take a moment to check in. Allow the shoulders to draw down away from the ears and the hands to feel heavy as they drag your shoulders down. Take a deep breath in and a long exhale out. And just notice how you feel. Shift from your thinking brain to your felt sense and check in today. Notice if you feel tired or energetic or sad or happy, and acknowledge that feeling without any need to change it. Meet yourself exactly where you are today. Just have that information to guide you through your practice. And then think about the intention of coming today. What did you want to gain? Maybe it was a sense of community and connecting with other movers. Maybe you want to sweat. Maybe you just want to learn more about that one body part we talked about last week. Whatever it is, bring your hands together, thumbs to your heart, honor yourself, honor your intention for being here. You are your own coach, your own guide. Open up your eyes here. Give yourself a couple rocks in the feet. Elevate your arms out to the side, palms down, blade your fingers together, and just start to reach your fingertips towards opposite walls. Notice how that allows you to grow a little bit bigger in your chest, maybe a little bit taller in your spine. And then you're going to take your right fingertips and start to glide like you're reaching for a glass or a jar up in a cabinet. Notice my hips and ankles and knees are staying right at home. And then I'm going to come back to the center and reach through my left arm. Hips stay at home. Notice the pressure in your feet. Does it shift? Can you maintain? Keep moving with me through center, moving right and left. Can you move into the upper body? Feel that stretch in the side body without shifting the weight in your feet. Long reaches. Keep breathing. Notice if you're focused on the movement and you've chosen to hold your breath, or not chosen, but you're accidentally holding your breath. Breathe through the movement and then come right back up to center. Bring your arms down to the side just to give your arms a rest. We're going to float right back up to that space. This time make fists and then turn your thumbs so your palms are forward and your thumbs are long on top of your body. Bring your right shoulder up into your ear and then rotate and place your shoulder down. Come back up out of that. Let's do that 2 more times. These are shoulder screws. So first the shoulder elevates. Even though you see my wrist turning, you want to feel that internal rotation all the way up into the shoulder and then try to place it down. Come back up and out, untwist. Last time. Shoulder goes into the ear. Internal rotation. Pull it back down. Now, turn your eye gaze over your opposite arm and pull your knuckles apart. Soften the knees. Keep breathing. Come up out of it. Let's try that on the other shoulder. Practice ones. Just map it out. Elevate, internally rotate, and then pack it back down or depress. Come back up and out of it. So just map that out. Elevate the scapula. Internally rotate the shoulder. Depress the scapula. If you're new here, we've worked on mapping out these movements in our shoulder blades or our scapula. Notice that when you internally rotate, it's happening at the shoulder, not just the wrist. Now we're going to go all the way. Elevate, internally rotate, pack, and then rotate your neck. We've done these neck rotations. Look over the opposite fingers, pull your knuckles wide, take your head back to the center, and come back out. Woo! You feel some burn in your arms. Give a little shake. Loosen it all up. You had all that tension in your body. Just shake it out. Let it all up. Elevate the arms up. Take the thumbs wide. Now let's start to move it. Right shoulder, internal rotation. Look across. Keep your breath with your movement, moving a little faster. Left side, elevate, internally rotate. Reach and look. Come back out of it. I'm starting to bend my knees a little bit. That's okay too. Elevate, rotate. Look across. Should feel a nice, delicious stretch down into your forearms, maybe into the shoulder complex. Final time. Shoulder screws with that external rotation of the cervical spine, of the neck. And then shake it all out here. Bring your arms up overhead if that's safe for you, and your shoulders. Grab your elbows. If this overhead doesn't work in your shoulders, just put your hands right here. No problem doing that. Otherwise, right hand grabs left elbow. Lift long in the left side. Come over to the right side. Big lateral bend. Same is true with the feet. Both feet are equally into the floor. Bring yourself back up. Grab opposite elbow. Lift and lengthen. Come over to the side. Back up to the center, back over to the right side again, big long through the left side, and then take your top armpit and just rotate it up to the ceiling, the teeniest bit. Turn on your right glute, give it a squeeze, draw your navel into the spine, support that. Back up to center, opposite side, lengthen opposite side, find your side bend. The armpit that's on top, rotate it towards the ceiling, draw the low belly in, squeeze the left glute for sure. You might be able to turn on your right glute. Breathe it in and bring yourself back up to center. Bring your arms down to your sides. Bring your feet together, inner thighs, knees together. place your hands right on your thighs. We're just going to take our knees into some circles. So you might feel this in a variety of places, notably maybe in your ankles, particularly if you have any crunchies going on in the ankles. But imagine if you drew a line down to the mat from your knees, you're able to circle out in front of your toes and maybe pull back toward your heels. Try to keep your feet pretty grounded. Take your circle the other way. And then move in a range that feels safe for you, right? So if taking your knees forward to a certain point feels safe, but going more forward feels a little wonky, stay in a range that feels safe and workable and doable for you. Final time. Come on up to standing, separate your feet. Now we're going to do the same exercise two ways. There's open chain, which means I'm going to be working my arms, but I'm not holding onto weights or pressing onto the floor. We'll do an open chain and then a closed chain version. Going to bring your hands together. We do this almost every class. Shoot your fingers forward. Spread your shoulder blades away from other, round through the back. Look at your thumbs. Now, I'm not doing a lot in the pelvis. I'm just working the upper body here. Take a breath in. Feel that space between the scapula and the back body. Now, separate the hands. Draw the elbows near the body. Send them back. Bring the scapula together. Let the heart come forward. Try that a couple more times. Shoot the hands forward. Notice if you've done yoga, this is like a standing cat pose, rounding through the back. Let's flip the hands up. That's the top of your push-up or your plank. Bend the elbows, send your heart forward through the gate of the arms. Elbows are coming toward one another in the back, shoulder blades together. This is your cow pose or your cobra pose. Final time. Shoot, separate the scapula, separate the shoulder blades, and bring the shoulder blades together. Okay, so that's open chain. We're going to do the exact same exercise on the wall or on the chair. I'm going to demonstrate on the wall first. You can come to the floor and do this hands and knees in tabletop position. What I want you to see is we're not doing a push-up. The arms are staying relatively straight. We're pushing the shoulder blades away, keeping straight arms, bringing shoulder blades together. Pushing. I have a slight bend in the elbow to access that, but it's not a push-up. It's about bringing the shoulder blades together. That's my demo on the wall. Let me just show you on the floor. We did this last week, pressing the ground away, rounding in the back, and then keeping the arms straight, bringing shoulder blades together. Wherever you've chosen to do this move, this isn't a strength move. This is a mobility move. This is mapping out the ability for you to move your scapula into that protraction and into retraction. That's just an opportunity for you to find this movement in your body and then to find strength out of your end ranges. We are going to do a push-up today, which is a little bit different. Yeah, on the wall, I have to bend my arms just a little bit more to give room for the scapula to come together. But those are called scapular push-ups. So that's confusing about a push-up, but the focus is the scapula is the driver. Where are we? We're in hip flexor exercises. So go ahead and grab onto a wall or a chair for balance. We're going to work on finding weight in our single leg. So I'm going to start with my left leg. I'm going to cue left leg. You pick your leg. And so I want you to ground through that left leg and stand tall in it, just like you would in both legs. Right heel comes slightly off the ground. Now you're not locking out this left knee, slight bend. Flex, dorsiflex the hanging leg ankle, and then drive that knee up, tap it down. Drive that knee up, tap it down. I want you to notice my trunk. My trunk is not rounding here. I'm not crunching to bring the knee up. So pack the shoulders, draw the belly in, bring the knee up, lower it back down. So you're working on your awareness of your trunk stability and working on your awareness or your capability of keeping the trunk engaged. As that leg lifts just 2 more, and you'll feel this standing leg glute is really activated, really working. We'll switch it out and go into the other side. So go ahead and get yourself set up if you need. This isn't a balance exercise, so it's more important that you're stable. This is a hip flexor strengthening exercise and a core awareness exercise. Weight is in the new leg, so you don't want to be all floppy. Zip it in, get nice and strong and tall, feel the heel strong, pull the glute in, opposite knee bends, dorsiflex the ankle or draw the toes to the shin, drive your knee up, tap the toe down, drive it up, tap down. Now, you need to meet yourself where you are in this exercise. If you find you're breaking at the core each time, bring the knee up a little bit slower and maybe not quite as high, but try to work in a range where you can be successful at the 2 primary things going on here, which is 1, using your hip flexor to lift your knee up, and then 2, not rounding or breaking at the trunk. You're using your core, but you're not using your spine. 3, and 2, and 1. All right, good. So step it all out here. We're going to go back to the upper body. We talked about the difference between a push-up and the scapular push-up. We're going to go full push-up today. We'll start off right here on the wall, choosing your hand placement that works best for you. The closer you are to the wall, the easier it's going to be. In fact, you might even get a little face smash. So you are going to bend at the elbows. Let the chest and hips move as one unit. Try not to break at the hips. If you choose to step further back, same idea, bend the elbows. Press away, feel the top of your push-up, that scapular protraction. Bring yourself to the wall. If you've chosen to go to the floor, you want to walk your hips out in front of your knees and lower down and press up. So the biggest reason I added this today is just to give you the opportunity to feel the difference between the scapular push-up and a more full push-up. On that full push-up, you're bringing your chest and your hips in alignment, in a plank. Your heels can come up off the back. That feels better for you. And then if you're somewhere between the wall and the floor, if you have a stable chair, maybe getting a little bit lower and working on the chair is the place that's best for you. Okay, is that enough push-ups? Yeah. All right, let's come to our chair pose, 4 corners. No, let's do thoracic openers first. So if you're a person that likes to get on the floor, go ahead and come down to your 90 degree angle all over the place. You see 90-degree angles. That's where you're going to be on the floor. Your knee and your foot are in train tracks. Arms reach out front. If you're standing, you might hold on to a chair and just put one leg back. Floor or standing, hands come together, whatever leg's back, just start to rotate that arm open. Good. So get this big thoracic rotation. If you're standing, can you pull the front leg hip back in space a little bit and the back leg hip forward in space and rotate above that? And bring your hands together. Standing people, maybe drop your back heel. That might feel better. And then when I say hips in space, pull your forward hip back. Same with the kneeling people. And then glide, reach your arm open. Come back. Keep working on those, okay? If you're standing, just glide open. Once your chest is open, push through the legs. Give your glutes a squeeze. If you're on the ground, notice if this front knee wants to travel with you, or you can keep it tracking forward. Breathe your work. Come back to center. Now we're going to try something a little different. If your shoulders can tolerate this, hands come forward, same arm is going to move, but this time it's going to go up. It's going to circle up. Bicep is going to come about to the ear. When you get there, you might not be able to go back any further. So you're going to turn your palm away from your head. Thumb comes forward and keep circling back around. And then you're going to keep that rotation so that when you end, the palm and your thumb are to the back of the space. We'll try that again. Arm sweeps up, thumb is to the back of the space, palm is to your head, bicep by the ear. Sweep thumb to the front of the space, palm away from your head, keep circling, keep finding that twist in the shoulder, keep twisting, 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 twisting. Thumb winds up in the back of the space, back of the hand next to you, and step forward and shake it out. So if you didn't quite get that, you can watch the video again. That's a nice little screwy, rotaty shoulder opener, which kind of goes hand in hand with those shoulder screws we did today. Okay, opposite foot back, kneeling or standing, opposite foot goes back, arms reach out in front, and then we just start with our bow and arrow first. So we're just feeling this peeling open. Now, if you're down on the knees, drive through this glute, let that hold your hips in space. And then as you peel open, don't let the knee travel with you, right? Stay strong in that outer glute. If you're standing up, even though the arms are moving, really feel it in the rib cage. So the arms, wrists, that's what you're seeing happening, but what you want to feel inside is the rib cage opening up. Big thoracic rotation. Good stuff. Let's go to the shoulder circles. Reach your arm up, thumb is back, palm is to your face. Turn it away, thumb forward, palm away. Keep circling around, but keep rotating that thumb. So you wind up, back of your hand is next to your body, palm is away. Reset, sweep it up, pause, readjust, and big circle. All right, shake it out. Good stuff. If you're down on the ground, we'll come up to standing. I think, yep, we do. If you're standing, you're already here. We're going to work on our balance with our four corners. So bring your arms up overhead if that feels safe. This is always an option. This is always an option. Just know those are your options. And then sit your hips back like you're sitting in a chair. Option to take your hands to prayer if you wish, and play with, can you drop your seat a little bit lower, lift your chest a little bit higher? Go ahead and bring your hands to prayer now. Good. So settle into this nice chair shape, and then notice, can you cultivate, pretend like there's a band around your knees. Can you slightly pull open the band, the slightest bit, so I can't see your knees move? Now, while you're pulling open that band, pretend there's a beach ball in your inner thighs. Can you squeeze the beach ball and open up the band at the same time? Can you feel your glutes turn on? Stand up nice and tall. All right. So it takes some effort to get into that deep chair pose. So we're going to go to chair pose again. You get as deep as you want to get. Find your chair. Sometimes it's fun to bring the arms up just to get that shoulder extension. Bring your hands to prayer though. Shift your weight into your left foot. So I'm going to demonstrate that by peeling up the right heel. I'm taking weight out of the right foot. I can pick up the right foot now. I'm going to tap the toes out in front, bring the toes right back. I'm going to tap the toes out to the side, bring them right back. I'm still chair on this side. Tap the toes back behind, bring them right back. This is the tough one. Reach behind and tap. And come right back, stand up tall. Wiggle, wiggle a little bit. Big inhale, exhale, find your chair. Only go as deep as it feels beneficial to do this work. Weight is in a new leg, other heel lifts up. Tap your left toe forward, tap. Out to the side, tap. Still got chair going on in this one leg. Back behind you, Tap to center, over to the opposite side. Tap to center. Stand up nice and tall. We're going to do one more round of that. You can stay right here with you are where you are, or you can try to hover your foot the entire time. Find your chair pose. Bring your hands to prayer. Push into the hands to find stability. Shift your weight into your left leg. Feel the left glute turn on. I'm going to demonstrate hovering the whole time. I'm going to tap in front, hover. Tap out to the side, hover. You touch if you need to, or maybe you hover once and you touch once. Work, be kind to yourself. Do what works best for you. Put the right leg down, stand up tall, squeeze, back into your chair, switch over to the other side, shift your weight, opposite foot taps, hover, tap, hover, tap back, and hover. Reach behind and stand up nice and tall. Great work, guys. That's really nice balance work for you. And, you know, I love figuring out how to do this work in your day. If you're brushing your teeth and you can figure out how to coordinate this work with brushing your teeth, washing your hands, waiting for the hot water to warm up, that's a great time to do that work. We're going to get down on the floor and do our bird dogs, but remember, wall is an option for bird dog. Chair is an option for bird dog. This is tabletop with a chair. This is right leg extended with the chair, left arm extended with the chair. Meet me on the floor, you all. Take a moment, wherever you are, maybe just find some circles. Let your shoulders drift forward over your fingertips. Allow the shoulders and the hips to move together. And then notice the sensation that comes up in the wrists as you do these circles. Take your circle the other direction. Now, today we talked about closed and open chain wrist exercises. You can stay here and keep doing this. You can do this on the wall or the chair, but open chain wrist exercises, closed chain. All right, so we're just putting the wrists on the floor. Now we're adding pressure. We're moving into a passive range of motion with our body weight. All right, too many words. Bird dog, let's go. Right leg is going to extend long, and your hip is now in extension. So enjoy that. Usually our hips are in flexion when we're sitting down, so enjoy the openness of the hip, but notice the tendency to want to externally rotate and stack. So we want to bring that hip down. Good. Maybe tack the right shoulder down, feel that lat engage. Maybe the left arm reaches long. Back of the neck should be long. Eye gaze down at the floor now. Try to listen to my voice. One more breath. Tap right knee, left hand back down to the mat. Take them long again. Tap right knee, left hand down to the mat. Same side. Take it long again. Press the mat away. Think about push up in your right arm. Final time. Tap right knee. Go right back into that hovering bird dog. Limbs are nice and long. Find that push up in your right hand. Left hand, right knee, come down to the mat. If you're in a chair or the wall, give yourself a stand. If you're on the floor and you'd like to take a little child's pose, bring your toes together. Maybe walk your knees wide and send your hips back as far as they can tolerate. Once the hips gone as far as they want to, you can come down to your full forearms, your shoulders, your chest. Maybe your hips go all the way back to the heel. It's really, different people have different ways of, or different tolerances for that hip and knee flexion. So just take a rest wherever you are. And then let's revisit our bird dog shape, wherever you are, chest wall, chair wall, or floor. Take your fingers wide, left leg reaches long. Notice the tendency to hike up, really send the leg long and dial the hip down like there's a serving tray back here. You don't want to spill any drinks. Nice motivation. Open, feel the openness in the extended leg hip, feel that extension. And then the right arm may or may not reach long. Yogi's choice here. Notice the left arm and the work that it's doing. Draw the left shoulder down away from the ear. See if you can get into the left lat, left side of the core a little bit. Right arm, left knee, touch the floor, send it long. Full expression. Right hand, left knee, touch the floor, send it long. You might push into your right shin a little bit more. That might support you. Final time. Kiss the floor, send everything nice and long. Back of the neck long, push the ground away with your left hand, maybe palm a basketball with your left fingertips, and bring everything down to the floor. Now you're going to turn one hand with your fingers back toward you. Thumb is away, and then your hips are sort of the gas pedal on how intense this is. You can do this on a wall, and you just bend the elbow to get it on the wall, okay? So on the floor, just let your hips come back and give you a little wrist stretch, shake it out, switch it onto the other side. Maybe not sending your hips back at all is where you need to be on this. That's fine. Just work in a zone that's beneficial to you. Never work into sharp pain. Never work into anything that makes you flinch or gasp or hold your breath. Take fist for wrist just for a second to get off the wrist. I'm going to talk about the next movement. It's a fire hydrant with a hip extension. From the floor, it's going to look like this. I'm going to use this muscle. Maybe think about touching, palpating kind of the outside of your hip. I'm going to use that muscle to bring my knee up. Notice my foot is dorsiflexed. It's not all noodly. Dorsiflex, and then I'm going to bring that knee back down. So I go out to the side one time, and then I send the bottom of my heel up one time. Out to the side and up nice and tall. If that feels comfortable with you, stick with that on the floor. My standing people, we're just going to go hip abduction, hip extension. Abduction to the side, extension to the back. When you're abducting to the side, remember, try not to change what happens above the hips too much. Don't feel the need to go higher and move your trunk. It's not important. We're just trying to isolate your glute for the hip extension and this side hip stabilizer for the abduction. Last, final time, fire hydrant, donkey kick, and then we'll switch sides. Now, somebody mentioned last week they're capable of getting down on the floor, but they didn't feel it as well. If you're one of those people and you want to go to the wall, by all means, do that. So what we're trying to do is isolate the stabilizing hip muscle when we open up for the fire hydrant, and then we're just giving you a break, finding extension in the front of the hip. Back to that hip muscle, take a break, find extension. Notice my spine isn't changing a lot when I go to extension. Again, don't let the goal be how high can I get, but your spine changes. All right, just try to keep the movement isolated to the hip. If you're using a chair for support, remember, shoulders stacked above hips. It's just abduction to the side, extension to the back. Abduction to the side, extension to the back. Notice when I go to my extension in the back, I'm not compensating forward to get a higher lift. Don't let the goal of where your limbs wherever your limbs wind up in space, don't allow that to be your goal. Get out of your thinking mind, go back into your feeling, your felt sense. Can you feel the outside hip muscle working? Can you feel your glute turn on? As long as you have those feelings, it doesn't matter how far you go. Final time, let's go ahead and find some movement. People standing, stand up tall. People on the ground, take yourself into a little bit of cat and cow, round the spine a little bit. And then we're going to make our way onto our back for hip thrusts. If you're a standing person, what you're going to do is you are going to sit in your chair for your hip thrusts. Mat people, come on down. We've done this one before. I love this exercise. Knees are bent, feet are on the ground. The distance your feet are from your body, you're going to have to work through that and see what works best for you. Elbows are down, fingers are up. They can be fists. If they're fists, just don't over clench. Drive your hips up into the air and then pause at the top. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your hamstrings, feel that activation. Lower it down, tap, drive back up. Keep working, lower down and tap and drive. Chair people, you're in your chair. You're standing up, sending your hips forward. Arms come forward as you tap, drive back up. As the arms go forward, the hips go back and reach and tap, and you're driving forward. So you want to, right here, when you're coming up, you want to feel your hip thrust, thrusting forward from a chair, thrusting up to the ceiling from the ground. 3 more. Hold and squeeze. Feel the core turn on. Shoulders down and away from the ears. Relax your jaw right now. Relax your toes. No clenching anywhere but the muscles that we're targeting. And have a seat. If you're in a chair, walk your feet wide. If you're on the ground, you're going to walk your feet wide and let both knees fall over to one side. Same thing in a chair, just let your knees drift over to one side, get a little twist. If you're on the ground, your arms are out wide, like a T. And then allow the breath to fill you up and notice the sensation that you get from a deep, purposeful breath. The sensation of spaciousness on the inside. And then draw your low belly, the space between your navel, in as you bring your knees back up to center and let your knees fall over to the other side. And the same thing. Arms are wide like a T. If you're on your back, maybe you close your eyes. Being mindful to keep your neck and chin in alignment and teach yourself to listen when you know exactly what's going on. Deep breath, low belly in, bring your knees back up to center. I'm realizing that I forgot something now. So if you're on your backside, you are going to roll over to one side and push yourself up. Come back to tabletop. Standing and chair people, this is just a side plank on a wall, okay? So side plank on a wall, you can either have an extended arm or a forearm. But you're just going to work on taking your feet away from the wall, supporting that work, and then just lifting your hips or crunching the inside rib to the pelvis. People on the ground, tabletop position, right shin is going to shift out just a little bit. And then you're going to take your left leg long and come into your side plank. So my right hand, right knee, left leg, they're all long in a line. And then pull your rib cage so you're nice and rotated at the trunk. And then your left arm might reach overhead. My wrist is a little bit not exactly where I want it. So I'm going to reset my wrist right under my shoulder for better alignment. Here's an option for people. Top hand goes on the hip. If you want a full side plank, take that top leg, dig it in, pull your knee up. If you want to play with a full side plank, we're set up to do it. That's not your jam. Knee goes back down, but you want a little bit more, just take your top leg and let it float. People on the wall, go ahead and come off the wall and start to set yourself up on the other side. People on the floor, come back down to tabletop shape. We'll set this up out of tabletop. My right shin rotated that time. This time it's my left shin that's going to rotate. So that's just my kickstand. Now I take my opposite side leg long. So my left wrist, left knee, and right leg are in alignment. And then take your right rib cage, or take a hold of your rib cage and really get this rotation. Again, my wrist is a little further than I want. So just feeling this rotation and this side body stretch, maybe that's enough for you, right? This is a great liberating feeling. Maybe you reach that top arm over. This is like a modified extended side angle in yoga. That can be enough. But if you want more, dig that inside edge in, contract these inner thigh muscles, and then just lift that bottom knee, corkscrewing that back arm in. Don't let that shoulder travel to the ear. Everybody doesn't have to do this. That's a little extra icing for those of you that want it. Or somewhere in the middle, maybe this bottom leg floats up to the top. Be good to yourself. Work where you are. Hopefully, I'm giving you options and giving you the permission to know that it's okay to work where you are. And more so than it being okay, it's important that you meet yourself where you are. Let's come down to the floor if you're on the floor, chair if you're in the chair. We've done these before. Shin boxes. So floor people, you're here. Chair people, imagine walking your feet wide and then just dropping knees over again. Floor people, here's what we're gonna do. Right knee is gonna open up to the right side. Left knee is going to follow. Now notice my hands are behind me and I'm sort of leaning back into my hands. And you're just gonna see if you can tolerate this internal rotation in one leg, external rotation in the other. This doesn't matter. You can be here, which is probably harder, or you can be here touching. So don't let that influence you. Can you bring your shoulders over this shin box shape and then just start to turn to the front of the space? And now we're going to switch out of it. We're going to go the other direction. So put your hands back behind you. Keep your knees open. Keep your front knee, this right one down. Open up your left one. You can walk the foot to get it open more. Big stretch, right? So I'm just pulling my knees, my inner thighs apart. I'm getting this delicious stretch. Now my left knee is going to go to the back of the space. My right knee travels up. When I do this, my right sit bone is no longer on the floor. My left sit bone is, but my right sit bone is no longer on the floor. I'm still leaning into my hand. Maybe I come up off the hand, bring the shoulders out the hips. That's going to change the intensity in the hips. People in the chair, you just drop your hips over the other side. Also, if you're in the chair, you can move back and forth, get in and out of this shape as it serves you. My people on the ground, keep your left knee down as much as it feels okay, but pivot. So start to open up your chest, like you're going to put your sit bone down, open up that right knee, big stretch, and then shift it back to the other side. Sit tall, sit back in your hands, and shift it. Now, maybe we're staying right there. Maybe we're just leaning back, shifting. If you want to add on and make this more challenging, bring your hands up off the floor, low belly pulls in as you shift and travel. You might scooch forward a little bit. Low belly pulls in, lift those knees and back. And then final one, hands can go back down. You can bring your knees right back up into a tabletop position. Walk your feet in, send your legs long. If you're sitting in a chair, just find yourself in an upright position, knees bent, feet on the floor. And that's it. It's been a pleasure and an honor spending these 8 weeks with you. Thank you so much for your questions and your participation. And I look forward to moving with you again soon.